Alright guys, here we go. It's another thumbnail art video for Potato, which is my gaming account. And today we're going to do I think this is the fourth episode of Unbound Worlds Apart. That's what we're working on today. I forgot to record the thumbnail, like the thumbnail sketches and my process that I normally go through before I get to the digital art phase. I apologize for that, and I'll be sure to make sure I record that stuff for next time in case you guys are interested. I just like to show the process from start to finish. That way you guys get the gist of the whole process, my process. I hope that you guys are finding some of this helpful. If not helpful, at least maybe somewhat entertaining. I put a lot of work into these, trying to get these produced out as quick as possible. Because, like I said, I do have the gaming channel as well, which is a lot of editing. So I try to keep this artwork pretty quick. I like to keep the amount of time I spend on it pretty low, as opposed to the time I spend with editing like the gaming videos and stuff, while still making quality images that draw people's attention. That's always the main goal, is just to try to draw people in, make sure that they like the image. And of course not everybody's going to like everything, but with the amount of time that I have, I'm doing just pretty quick and dirty images. I want to stay under 2 hours from the design process, starting at the thumbnail sketch phase to the final image itself. My time is pretty valuable to me, and I spend a lot of it just on doing the recordings for both the games and these art videos as well. But I truly enjoy it. I love creating stuff. I actually went to school for graphic design, and it was called New Media Communications, which covered video editing. It covered web design, graphic design, fine art, all that stuff. However, illustration is where my main love is. I'm actually doing some illustration work for a children's book right now for a lady in my town hereby, and I'll be uploading that art here pretty soon. It'd probably be next month if you're looking at the time of this video. Next month, in that time frame. But here you can see me using the selection tool. I like to do this for the big areas, that I'm just going to do a bunch of color for. Like, see, bam, color's done. I'm just going back in here, and I'm kind of cleaning up my edges. I'm not trying to get too precise or too, crazy about it, but I do want it to look good. I realize that this is going to be a small thumbnail, and people probably will not be able to detect small errors and going outside the line and stuff like that, which sometimes I do play a little fast and loose with, but I tend to be a little over detailed at times. I focus in way too much on the small stuff, which is something I'm working, among other things, I'm working to improve on, not to be so critical of every tiny detail. I'm also really working on my color palettes and choices for when I'm doing my images. I'm trying to get outside of my boundaries. Now, in this art, I'm sticking with fairly muted colors because it goes along with the actual game. Not to insult the game or its color palettes, because the color palettes in the game are beautiful. They just tend to stay a little bit more on the muted side, which is where I tend to be more comfortable anyways. I don't really do a whole lot of super bright or saturated images, which I'm actually trying to do more bright and saturated images because they attract more attention as a thumbnail than something that's kind of a muted color palette, which I'm fortunate in that regard, because the main character here wears a bright red cape outfit. So here you can see I forgot to draw the hands, so I'm going back in and I'm putting in some hands, and I'm going to use the transform tool on it. I duplicated that layer, use the transform tool to basically mirror that hand, so I didn't have to do the whole work of drawing two different hands, which isn't a big deal, but just for a time saving, standpoint, it actually helps out quite a bit. As you can see, I just go in here and fill them in and clean it up real quick. And then boom, I got two hands because apparently I forgot that the character had hands. So here we are, just putting some hands in there, and now I don't know why I'm kind of getting into the details of the flame on his hat right now, but I kind of went there. I should start working on the rest of the details here soon. Oh, here I decided the background was a bit boring and flat. I definitely didn't want just the flat green collar back there. So I'm going in and adding a little bit of variation to make it slightly more interesting. Although I believe it's going to be pretty hard to pick up in the thumbnail once it's slimmed down. And right there, it was bugging me. It was drawing too much attention. I wanted to push it back a bit further, adding a little bit of atmosphere here. Gonna go ahead and start adding highlights and shadows to the face. And I do this every time. I pick the wrong pen, the wrong brush to start doing my little sketchy coloration on his face. I like it to look a little more traditional or organic, a little loose. And for some reason, I tend to pick the wrong brushes fairly often. I'll get it figured out. I'll get it nailed down eventually. But I'm really enjoying Krita. It's a pretty intuitive process, and it honestly looks a ton like Photoshop. If you guys have seen my other videos, you know that I'm not a big fan of Adobe, really. I used to be. I used to love their products. That's what I went to school for, and I used. We were using the creative suites, and it was absolutely fantastic. I loved going in, just playing with it all the time. But once they switched to a subscription model, which they said it was for our benefit, for the more access to a wider range of people, I'm calling bunk on that, because if that were true, then they may have had a subscription model, which would help some people out, but they also would have kept it available to just buy their products outright, which, as far as Photoshop goes, they just don't let you. So I honestly, I don't believe them. I don't believe they did it for altruistic reasons, which soured me on them quite a bit. Especially a lot of artists starting out. Like if you're a kid or something, you can't afford to pay, say $20 a month or more for different programs, because a lot of these go hand in hand, like Illustrator and Photoshop. Or if you want to do any video editing like I'm doing here, I actually bought this program. This is Adobe Premiere Elements instead of the Premiere Pro, which you can still buy if you're interested in doing video editing. I enjoy the program. I don't know it very well. I'm not in depth at all, but it's a good program. And here you can see me adding more details. For some reason early on, I just made that all one color. I forgot that his little potato belly should be showing, which I've done in almost every other image. I wasn't sure exactly what to do with the eyes there, so I just kind of made the eye socket a little more dull in the background. I didn't want to show the ooey gooey parts of his eyes actually popping out, I'm used to like trying to aim for kid-friendly stuff because I do have kids of my own, which they'd probably be fine with it. It wouldn't freak them out or creep them out, and they'd probably think it's funny. But still, it's my personal choice, and that's what I wanted to go with. Here you can see me going ahead and filling in the shadow parts on this rocky structure, because these are little bricks. Like in the video game, I had a heck of a time with them. They kept coming out and just smashing me, and like they're actually like a monster type thing that shoots out of the ground or the wall, and then you hit your portal and it turns into like this block thing that you can jump on. But I was doing like a little play on the situation here by the blocks just squishing me and killing me, because I died so many times, which you tend to do in this game. But I wanted to add like this element, to kind of tie it all together. I like to take certain situations out of the videos that really stuck out to me, like certain hard situations, and I like to add those with a good twist on them in the thumbnail. It gives an idea of kind of what's happening in a playful way, which tends to be my personality. I like to try to be playful with certain stuff like this. And I'm just going through, filling out all the shadows. And I missed quite a few of my lines, I think, when I was actually transferring the hand-drawn sketch into Krita here. I think I kind of messed it up, but I'm just making do and adding them where I think they should go. And just trying to keep it, add some variation. I don't want a whole lot of the same thing going on. Just a nice rocky kind of appeal, you know. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to imply rocks. And that's gonna make me happy in this video. If you guys like have any questions, about how to do things or why I'm doing things, feel free to leave a comment, and I'll try to check with all of them and try to get back with you, and maybe I can help somebody out. I'd love to, if I possibly could, especially people who are just getting started, or anybody who just needs a little refresher, because I'm getting refreshed again myself. I spent a lot of time after college just trying to make money. I wasn't actually even working in the field I went to college for, which is something a lot of people go through. But I'm trying to get back into it. It's something I absolutely love. I've had plenty of clients so far, especially when I was in college. I was doing illustrations for authors and like children's book authors and people who wrote books and other graphic design stuff. So I'm trying to get back into it. It's what I really enjoy doing in life, and I don't want to spend the rest of my life doing stuff that I don't really enjoy. So I'm trying to get back into it, and if I can help anybody else along the way, I'd love to do that. I'd love to help out other people. So here you see me just going in and adding some highlights, just trying to pop out the rocky structure so it's not flat. Add a slight bit of realism to it, but, not get too carried away. And if you notice, I missed some blocks here and there, which I'm not worried about. It is what it is. We just make do with what we got. But at the end of the day, I hope you guys are getting something out of this. I'm enjoying it. I absolutely love doing it. So if you could leave me a like or a comment, that would be fantastic. And I'll be doing more constantly. So if you guys want to subscribe, you'll get to see more. With that being said, everybody have a fantastic day. Take care. Bye-bye.